I wanted to bring Mr. Joe Penland. You guys know him, Joe from Texas. You can find him at joefromtexas.com. He's a builder, a job creator, and straight shooter who's been investing in people and in the Lone Star state of Texas for decades. Joe, welcome.
Good morning, Kathy. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I wanted to bring you back on today because I found out that you met with recently Speaker Mike Johnson, and I wanted to just get some inside chat on what is he thinking. I mean, there's a lot to be done. Donald Trump has been doing most of the heavy lifting with executive orders, but specifically around immigration, the border. You have talked extensively about your immigration tariff. What was the conversation like with him on those particular issues that matter?
Well, it was a very good conversation. He's very gracious to give me the time that he gives me because he's extremely busy. But we talked extensively about Social Security, getting a commission like Ronald Reagan did in 1981 to put 15 people to work on this to get it some things back to the president so he could get it voted on in his term. We talked about immigration, the tariff on getting a tariff for immigration here in the country. So those two things was our number one and number two conversation. And he also visited about immigration and he visited about Social Security when he was talking to the whole group of people both nights.
Yeah, good, because we have some problems. I think it was you who told me earlier this week that back in FDR's time when Social Security was enacted, that we had, what was it, 400 plus people paying into Social Security for every one person drawing Social Security, and today is 2.5 people paying into Social Security for every one person drawing out.
It was 160 to 1.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 160 to 1. Now we got to about 2.4 paying in for every one. So, yeah, we've outgrown the program. There's no two ways about it. It's your money. It's not the government's money. The government has not put any money into Social Security except to administer Social Security, which is a very small number. They spend about $5 billion a year to send out $1.4 trillion worth of money back to the American people who put it in, and their employers matched it.
Why do you care so much about the state of Social Security?
Well, if Social Security takes a 25% cut in 7 years, that's going to double the poverty rate for elderly people in this country. There'll be 80 million people on it in just a short period of time. There'll be 85 million people on it if we let it play out. And if you have 85 million people take a 25% cut, that's actually going to devastate this economy because they spend their money. They go out to eat, they go to a movie, they play a round of golf. You say, well, those things are not a necessity. It is to your economy. You let the restaurant shut down. The waiters and the waitresses are going to all feel that effect. We need that money. We need that $1.4 trillion being spent in the economy every year. That turns over 7 times in the local economy. That's how you get yourself out of the hole. We don't want that to go away. That's not an entitlement. They paid it in. The government's holding it. It's like you putting your money in the bank, Kathy, and you go to get it out. You're entitled to get it out because you put it in. So somebody might say that's an entitlement. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. But I remember the first time I met you, I was over there bawling as you were. I was between laughing and bawling because you were telling a story of your own childhood and why Social Security matters to you. That part was very serious, but the part I was bawling about was when your cousin wanted to steal your bike and you punched them. But about your father and how you grew up, you are, this country has been very good to you. God has been very good to you and your family. You are not hurting for money, but you remember the days when you didn't have enough food and watching your father.
Well, we didn't have enough food to eat in the 50s. My dad had a stroke in 1957. He died a few years later. Unfortunately, he was a alcoholic. He drank up everything past what we had to get by with every day. He wasn't a bad father for us, mean to us, but he didn't save anything. And 2 weeks after he was sick, we didn't have enough in the house to eat. So my mother started taking in laundry from the neighbors and so forth. And that Social Security kept us eating. She made enough to pay the light bill and the gas bill and the water bill and put some clothes on us, but we didn't have enough to eat. And we looked forward every month. She'd say, "Watch for the mailman, Joe." So when he showed up, I'd run into the house with the check, and she'd get cleaned up, and we'd walk to the store. She'd pay our bill, cash the check, and pay her bill, and get an armload of groceries. And that was her proudest day of the month. She didn't know anybody.
Right. Look at that. And I love having you on talking about these particular, immigration and talking about Social Security, because quite frankly, these two issues are not really being talked about. Yes, we're talking about ICE grabbing people and getting them out of our country, but we're not talking about the greater issue of immigration policies, the fact that we have 1 million jobs that are looking for people to work, and that eventually we're going to have to open up the borders of this nation. We're not really talking about Social Security because it's not the hot topic, right? The algorithms aren't feeding people to talk about it. But I bring you on because because we have to have these conversations, and I want to plant the seeds for when we do start talking about these things again.
Well, I appreciate you having us on. It's always good to get out there because you got a lot of people listening to you, and I appreciate that, Kathy. But we're fixing to start a tour, kind of like Tucker Carlson did, on a little bit smaller scale, but it's going to be strictly on Social Security, and it's not going to cost you anything to come. You won't have to buy a ticket, and we'll be in about 25 different cities across the nation. And the former Comptroller General of the United States, Dave Walker, will be with me. He was a Social Security trustee. He was with Reagan. He was a Reagan appointee. He was a Bush appointee, and he was a Clinton appointee. And he was also there when we balanced our budget 4 times and paid it down twice with Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich. So he's got a lot of experience, and we're going to lay it out where Social Security is, where it's going, and how we can fix it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe Penland. You guys can find out more about Joe and what it is that he's doing by going to joefromtexas.com. Blessings.
Thank you.